Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is going to be my detailed review of the CDC Outlaw front chin spoiler, available for your 2015 V6 EcoBoost and GT Mustang, excluding all cars equipped with the Performance Pack. This review is going to cover a few basic topics in relation to the Outlaw chin spoiler here from CDC. Basically what you're going to be looking at as far as impact to your overall styling, what this thing's going to be made of, and then finally a quick little walkthrough of the install. And as far as chin spoilers go, guys, this is going to be a very straightforward install. In fact, look for a combination of 3M tape and 2 factory style fasteners, making for a very simple 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty scale. We got a little bit more detail coming up on that later on. This thing should appeal to any S550 owner out there, minus those Performance Pack cars, of course, who is after maybe one of the more aggressive spoiler options for the S550 cars, one that again is going to install very easily overall, and one that has the option of being painted for a more custom look. The Outlaw series of parts for the S550 Mustangs actually debuted at SEMA around the same time of the release of the S550, and honestly at first glance I was a big fan. The parts flowed really well together, they gave the car a modified look without being too over the top, and honestly the parts appeared to be very well designed and built because the fitment definitely reflected that. The Outlaw chin spoiler that I have here has definitely become a very popular part on the site, and the overwhelmingly positive reviews for this particular part here definitely back that up. In fact, check those out if you haven't done so already. A great way to get some honest feedback from some of our customers, and those customer submitted images, by the way, might give you a better idea of how this will look on your own ride. Now, talking about some of your current chin spoiler options for the S550, there are a few to choose from, of course, but only a handful are going to fit the non-Performance Pack cars. The CDC option is one, your street scene is another, and there are a few MMD options as well. And I am going to stick by my statement, guys. I think the CDC Outlaw chin spoiler is one of the most aggressive in the grouping, with only the RTR maybe being slightly more aggressive. Now, in stock form, I feel like the S550 Mustang has the slightest bit of overbite from the factory, even more so with non-Performance Pack cars. It just looks like it's lacking a little something up there. The CDC option, again, brings a whole lot of balance to the front end, at least in my opinion, brings a little bit more symmetry and just gives the car a little bit more presence in the process. And I really enjoy the fact that it does all of this without being over the top or too boy racer-ish. So that pretty much covers the styling of the CDC spoiler, but let's talk about the build and the construction here with this option. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, CDC does a great job of designing and building these things, and that's immediately evident the moment you pull this thing out of the box. They went with a very durable TPO or thermoplastic material for the overall construction. Again, very durable, and they've actually finished it off in a similar grain or textured plastic like you'd find on the factory S550. And like I mentioned earlier, guys, this thing is totally paintable. So if you wanted to have it color matched to your ride, you could do so, and it actually looks really good. I've seen a few of myself in person at a few shows, and there are a few customer submitted images that show this thing color matched. Again, check those out, it'll give you a better idea. So ultimately it will be up to you though, however, to decide if you like the black to break up the body color a little bit, or maybe you just want to have this thing color matched. Unfortunately, we don't currently offer this as an AM pre-painted part, so you are going to have to check with your local body shop or paint shop to get this thing sprayed on your own. So what about the impact to your wallet? Well, the CDC option is definitely going to be one of your more premium options here on the site when it comes to front chin spoilers, but it doesn't even come close to your true fiber stuff, which is just on another planet by itself. Overall, you're going to be dropping just over $300 here on the Outlaw chin spoiler, which really isn't all that bad when you consider how well this thing is made and the overall styling impact it brings to the table. Let's switch gears and talk about the install here briefly, and like I mentioned earlier, this thing is going to be a walk in the park. No permanent modification, no cutting, no drilling. Instead, very straightforward 1 out of 3 wrenches on my overall scale of difficulty here, maybe 30 minutes to an hour to get everything bolted up. CDC does include everything you need to get this chin spoiler installed, including brand new 3M automotive tape, alcohol prep pads, adhesion promoter. They even are nice enough to toss in 2 new factory style fasteners just in case you mess up your factory ones taking them out. As far as tools, you really don't need a whole lot here, guys, as you might imagine. CDC says you need a panel removal tool. Honestly, a flathead will work just fine with removing those factory style fasteners. Other than that, this job is all in the prep work. Clean the area thoroughly using those alcohol prep pads. Prep it first with adhesion promoter after that, and then adhere carefully to your ride, and that's it. I actually really enjoy the CDC Outlaw chin spoiler because it gives the front end of the car a very aggressive look, finishes it off in the process, but without looking like an extra from the Fast and Furious. The price might be a little bit on the high side, but in return, you're getting a very well-built product that fits like a glove. So that's my review of the CDC Outlaw front chin spoiler, which you can grab right here at AmericanMuscle.com.